What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media, bringing you Ravens content every single day. If you want to stay up to the Ravens content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and turn the notification bell on if you want to get notified every single time I upload a brand new video. I apologize for all the stuff in the background. If you didn't know, I just moved into my place. My bed, I believe, comes today, so I have a lot of stuff kind of opened on the side. So it should all be cleared up and cleaned up. So tomorrow's video should be totally fine. The background should be at least relatively clean, but there's just like so much stuff from moving. But I figured I wanted to get the video out, sooner today because this is something that I've been seeing a fair amount of, especially on Twitter and people talking about it. And it's about Marlon Humphrey, and people are like questioning Marlon Humphrey. And so let's talk about what's wrong with Marlon Humphrey. And if you're like, there's something wrong with Marlon Humphrey, there's no injury or anything like that. This isn't to say like, oh, Marlon said he's not injured. As far as I know, he's not injured. But overall, if you didn't know, there were a couple of videos of, Rashad Bateman, early in, even before training camp, just in like overall practices and like mini camp and stuff like that. It's like, oh, Rashad Bateman just cooked Marlon Humphrey. Then, and obviously we hype it up because Rashad Bateman, if he does well, that means really good things for this Ravens offense. So we see that and we're like, oh, look at that. Look, Rashad Bateman absolutely killing it. Cooking Marlon Humphrey is going to be a stud. And then we see it again in training camp. We're like, let's go. I believe it was on Sunday when a lot of Ravens fans were at the game or at the, practice at M&T Bank Stadium. And he cooks Marlon Humphrey off the press and gets like a 30, 35, maybe it was a 40-yard touchdown. It was like, yes, Rashad Bateman's killing it. Then, Deion Kane, I believe, has had back-to-back days with big touchdowns over Marlon Humphrey. And people are like, this is cool. But like, Marlon, what's going on? I'm here to say there's nothing wrong with Marlon Humphrey, okay? I saw a tweet, I'll pull it up right now. And he said, Marlo going to get humbled this year, lol. I feel it. No. Okay? If y'all don't know how Marlon Humphrey plays cornerback, he's a very physical, hands-on, aggressive cornerback. He tries to bully the wide receivers. And that's something that, is a very viable strategy. But for most of the, offseason, up until, I believe, yesterday, maybe it was 2 days ago, there was no pads. It wasn't a super physical practice. It was trying to just beat off of routes. And Marlon is an in-your-face, push the wide receiver, grab the wide receiver type of player. And you can't do that when you're not playing with pads. And so that restricts a lot of Marlon's game. And then also, he's the number one corner on the team going up against Deion Kane. No disrespect to Deion Kane. He has been balling. If he's able to make the team, great for him. He's been playing really, really well. And I'm rooting for him, hoping he makes the team. The issue is there's so many wide receivers. I'm really hoping for Prochet. But whatever you think about him, he's good. He's got good size and all that stuff. But if you're looking at it from Marlon Humphrey's perspective, right? One of the highest paid corners in the NFL, one of the best corners in the NFL. He's going up against some guy that's, going to make the team, maybe not make the team. It's like, how hard is he trying? Like, obviously, he's not going out there and he's like just letting him score. He is putting in effort and they're still scoring. But this is not, I need to absolutely clamp this dude or anything like that. And, a lot of guys are like that, especially in training camp and things like that. For example, Ben Roethlisberger. I know in Baltimore, obviously we're not big fans of Ben Roethlisberger, but he's been a pretty good quarterback for the Steelers. Obviously in the last couple of years, it's fallen a little bit. But there was a video a few years back where, he's in training camp and they're doing the drill where they throw the pads at the quarterback. And I believe they're supposed to dodge the pads, to avoid pressure and things like that. Ben Roethlisberger sits back, shoulder, football into the pad, then punches one out of the air, and then he throws it. Why? Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And then you see, I believe Mason Rudolph was the backup at this point. Maybe it was Landry Jones. They're trying really hard. And, they're like, I got to make the team. Ben Roethlisberger's like, bro, I got my spot. Everybody knows who I am. That type of stuff doesn't matter as much. Now, in this, it is a one-on-one drill. He is still trying. However, it's not a game on the line type situation. He's not trying to, shove the guy into the ground, not like Ben Cleveland, who absolutely leveled, I believe, Tyus Bowser the other day, which, yes, let's go big sexy. But, overall, Marlon Humphrey, he's an absolute beast. Do not be worried about Marlon because couple of people have scored on him. And also shout out to Ravens for Dummies on Twitter, a.k.a. Spencer Schultz. But he said after somebody said, Marlo going to get humbled this year, he said he had an interception and 3 pass breakups today as well. And he also brought up a great point in that the quarterback can't be hit. Now, Lamar Jackson is not practicing. I believe he still has one more day until he can practice, maybe a little bit more. But Trace McSorley and Tyler Huntley are the quarterbacks, and you can't hit the quarterbacks. What is the Ravens' defense? Heavy pressure, limited time to throw. That's what the Ravens like to do. So all Marlon really has to do, and most of the time, is guard a guy for 3-4 seconds. And when you can't hit the quarterback, which affects the throw significantly, when you're a quarterback and you can't be hit, you're relaxed. You can follow through perfectly when you're throwing that pass. You can do all that stuff, and it's going to work out great for you because you can't get hurt. When you're playing in the NFL, let's say you're going up against the Ravens, and let's say it's Patrick Queen is coming at you, okay? And you're a quarterback, and you're like, I can get this ball off, but I'm not going to go full step through, right? Because he may get to me, he may hit my leg, could get hurt, may do that. So I'm going to do a quicker throw. That throw is slightly off. That allows Marlon to get a hit. That allows Marlon to get a breakup. That allows Marlon to catch up. All those types of things, or even just he got hit as he threw. He got blindsided. All that type of thing. The quarterback doesn't have to deal with any of those things when they're in this practice. And props to the wide receivers. Marlon obviously isn't absolutely clamping every play, but you wouldn't expect a corner to clamp every play. He's a heavy man-to-man corner that likes to get physical and relies on a heavy pass rush to allow it so that he doesn't have to cover guys for 10 seconds because no corner in the NFL could cover anybody, most likely in the NFL, for 10 seconds in heavy press man coverage. It would be very, very difficult. So what do the Ravens do? They blitz, they get to the quarterback, they hit the quarterback. The Ravens don't get a ton of sacks, from a lot of players, but they get a lot of hits, right? Quarterbacks are always on the ground when they play the Ravens. Why? Because the Ravens' entire thing is throw the quarterback off their game. If you hit them early, they will no longer be able to think, I can just step through, make that throw like I normally would in practice. You can't do that. You're in their head. They can't make the right throw, and that affects the throw to the wide receiver, and that allows Marlon and Marcus Peters and Chuck Clark and Deshaun Elliott, all those secondary players to ball out. So stop questioning whether or not Marlon Humphrey is going to be humbled, whether or not he's struggling. Also, the defense has been dominating. If you haven't been reading anything or hearing anything about training camp, the defense has been dominating, which makes sense considering what the offense is missing. Starting quarterback, Gus Edwards, Ronnie Stanley, Nick Boyle, missing a lot of players. So the defense is clamping. The issue is, and nobody wants to see defensive highlights unless it's a spectacular interception or something like that. They're only going to show the highlight catches. I don't think I've seen one highlight where somebody's like, oh my gosh, check this out. It was an 8-yard hook from James Prochet. Like, they're not hyping that up. They're hyping the diving catches, the toe drag swag. I think I saw one from Sammy Watkins. Like, that type of stuff they love to hype up. Wide receivers are flashy. Wide receivers sell. So they're going to oversell all of those things that happen. They're not going to talk about Marlon unless he makes, an interception or anything like that. So overall, do not be concerned with Marlon Humphrey. There is nothing wrong. And if you see people saying, hey, man, Marlon Humphrey's really struggling, he's not going to be very good, send him to this video, okay? Send him to this video and be like, you know what? No, he's good, okay? When he actually has to go against, other team wide receivers where he can get physical, the defense can actually hit sacks, all that stuff is going to make it so much more fun to watch. But thank you, everybody, for watching. Subscribe for daily Ravens content. Let me know how excited you are because football comes back tomorrow if you don't know. Hall of Fame game, Simi Fehoko and the Cowboys against the Pittsburgh Steelers. If y'all see Simi Fehoko balling, I told you so. But overall, I will say the goal once once preseason starts, I'll try and start doing it, but it'll continue into the NFL season. I'll try and live stream for like an hour before Ravens games and probably for like an hour after Ravens games. So that way, we can get all the questions. We can talk about it after the game and all those types of things. And then on the, typically a game is on Sunday. On the Monday following, I will have like a full game analysis. I'll rewatch the entire game. probably put out like a Roman report. How good was Greg Roman doing all those plays? So I'm just letting you know that's kind of the plan. So we can talk about the pregame. That way I don't have to record like a pregame special. We can just talk, and whenever Josh is free, he'll hop on. And we could talk about whatever questions y'all have before the game. What are the biggest matchups, rather than just pre-recording that and hoping we answer the questions you have. We'll talk about all the questions you have before the game, after the game. We'll get to celebrate the victories. We'll get to figure out what went wrong in all the losses. It's going to be a lot of fun. But so make sure to stay tuned for when those start, because when preseason starts, that's when those are going to start. Before the games, after the games, all that type of stuff. And preseason is, I believe it starts next week. I'm not 100% sure. I believe it starts next week. So, but we will have a live with the viewers this Sunday, I believe, as far as I know, unless the Ravens game is on like a Monday, which I don't think it is. But thank you everybody for watching. Subscribe for daily Ravens content, and I will see all of you again tomorrow.